It's 7:40. Let's do this. Good evening, Hampton Roads. Good evening, Northeast North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television, and you are watching First Warning Live, sponsored by Marco's Pizza, where we're giving away some free pizza on Thursday, but you can actually get some details tonight. By the way, with a stalled front off the coast and an area of low pressure that's riding along it, the chance of rain goes up tonight. It's only going to increase again tomorrow. Sadly, because of this slow-moving system, we're kind of stuck in a holding pattern, but I get ahead of myself. Let me show you what we're talking about. As far as coastal flooding, that's an issue, but notice what's going on at the ocean front. If I have my eyes squared on here, this is like half mile. We got a half-mile visibility. It looks like October outside. It almost looks like a page right out of the Oktoberfest, apple cider, pumpkin patch, haunted house, or haunted hayride, but a half-mile visibility, pretty poor. And it's 2.5 in Edenton, it's 3 in Chesapeake. It's like the marine layer has come ashore. And if you need more evidence, just look at this picture. I mean, come on. I mean, look at this. I mean, these are the current wind gusts. We got 32, Virginia Beach, 33 in Norfolk, and we got a 28-mile-an-hour gust in Hampton. I mean, it's gusty, but the fact that it looks like this, the winds are shaking the camera a little bit, and I can see the white caps of the waves crashing onto the ocean front. That says something that it doesn't exactly feel like September. Doesn't look like September, but it's the way it is. We got wind gusts of 33 in Norfolk, 28 Hampton, 18 miles an hour currently as of the 7 o'clock hour in Kitty Hawk and Manio. And if we slide further south, we got 26 in Currituck and 12 in Rodanthe. So not as windy down across maybe the Outer Banks, but certainly very gusty here in Virginia Beach. And that evidence was from the picture. But if you look at the highest wind gusts so far today, Virginia Beach and Norfolk topped the list at 35 apiece, while Elizabeth City's got 30 as a top wind gust today, and Chesapeake 23. But if you look at the wind forecast, which we're going to look at here, just to kind of show you, it's not going to subside much through the night, right? 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, it's still coming in from the northeast. We still have 10-mile-an-hour winds. I think 10 to 20 will be reasonable during the course of tomorrow. The Outer Banks is at 17. What time is this? This is midday tomorrow. So that's 12 noon. And then you throw in a little bit more wind at 5 o'clock. In the afternoon, it's around 18 here, 13 south side. So this gives you an idea. It will slow down eventually, but it's not going to do it in a hurry. We still have another day to get through tomorrow. Eventually, we get into Thursday morning. Things look a lot slower, right? The winds are still coming from the northeast on Thursday morning, but they're less than 10 miles an hour in most locations, maybe 5 to 15 for the balance of your Thursday afternoon. Friday, hardly a mention of the wind. Coastal flood advisory is in effect until 2 p.m. Wednesday, but this is misleading too, because if you're on the eastern shore, I believe it goes to 4 p.m. 4 p.m. for the eastern shore. I believe it's 6 p.m. if you're in Matthews County, but it's 4 p.m. if you're in Gloucester. I mean, you need a scorecard to keep track of the coastal flood advisory as issued by the National Weather Service. But I can tell you, it's probably going to go to Thursday. So all these academic times, whether it's 2 hours apart or 4 hours apart, I think it could be an issue where we're dealing with the winds and we're dealing with coastal flooding even into Thursday. That's just me. We'll wait and see how, because if the pattern doesn't change, what would change this? This was actually extended from Tuesday. It got kicked down the road to Wednesday. Could have also continued down the road as well. If you've got a comment, I'd love to say hi to you. I got a nice note from Kim. I believe this is from yesterday. She wants to say, have a great evening, everyone. This was from yesterday, and this is her comment. This is how easy it is to interact. This can be as interactive as you want it to be. If you don't want to interact, you just want the weather, I'll keep going. But this is just an idea of how things can look. Like your picture that you provide Facebook would go right here. That's Kim Thompson's note from yesterday, and I'd like to be able to magnify your voice any way that I can. By the way, if I haven't mentioned this, we're giving away free pizza. And if you are interested in getting some free pizza, the easiest place to go is our webpage. Go to WTKR.com/Marcos. Boy, doesn't that pizza look good? Anyway, we're going to be giving away free pizza to satisfy your appetite. All you have to do is go to any one of these 5 locations, soon to be 6, where you'll be actually able to redeem that free pizza. The winners are announced every Thursday. We keep it simple. Got 3 locations in Virginia Beach, 1, 2, 3. Chesapeake, about to double that. We have one there in Kempsville Road, but the new one will be a stone's throw from Great Bridge Middle School. Great Bridge Middle School, stone throw from there on South Battlefield Boulevard. That will open up very, very soon, I believe later this month. And Norfolk, Hampton Boulevard, also on the participating contest locations. But if you're curious, what we're doing and trying to give away is a pizza certificate. It looks like this right here. This is the pizza certificate. It's one large, one topping pizza monthly for a year for free. It works like a punch card. Now that we're in September, you got 3 more after October, November, December, and we're going to keep giving you free pizza right into 2026. So you'll have one per month, which is really cool. And if you say, I'm never so lucky to win a free pizza, well, maybe you might win. Even if you don't win, you get half off just for watching this live stream. What am I talking about? This is the deal of the week. We do this each and every week. This one is 50% off anything you order, which is amazing because once you get to checkout, if you use the promo code, which is our call letters, WTKR 50, you'll actually be able to take half off your bill. So that means if you're getting, I don't know, pizza, Pizzoli, maybe some pizza bowls, maybe some subs, salads, breads, cheesy breads, Cinesquares, desserts, salads, a white cheesy, a Philly, a chicken fresco. Maybe you prefer to do the whole works. Maybe the works are more your speed. That's everything. I mean, that's like everything you can imagine. Pepperoni, ham, green pepper, all of it. Half off, 50% off, just using the promo code. So I think what's really needs to be mentioned is that Marcos loves weather and they love giving back to the community because they're giving back to you if you just want to redeem that promo code. It's that simple. Let me get back to the weather because one of the things that we're most concerned about is the timing, because some of these things, again, are going to cycle with high tide and low tide. So high tide tonight at 11 o'clock will be minor flooding. As you can see here, this is Sewell's Point. 4.8, still minor at 11 a.m. on Wednesday. So you'll note the time is here at the bottom. But this continues on. It's why expire this at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon when you still got nuisance and minor flooding going into Thursday. That's why I said it wouldn't surprise me if they kick this can down the road even further. Now tomorrow, let's just focus on tonight. Sewell's Point at 11 o'clock tonight will have minor tidal flooding. This is basically Buxton out there on NC-12, and there was some overwash today, some coastal overwash. So there's been some issues in North Carolina, but Smithfield, 1 a.m. will have minor flooding. That's about 3.7, and then Fort Monroe, 4.9. So they've got some other issues that we'll be watching as we go down the road. I'm just checking in with you. If you're on the call, would love to say hi to you. I'm going to recognize you as best I can. This is that time in the live stream that I love to be able to see the comments if they're coming in and be able to recognize you as they come in. I got a little hello everyone from Kim Thompson-Jones. And Kim saying she really loves these temperatures. I'm really glad Kim was not a fan of the heat and humidity, which many of you know we had in June, we had in July. But now that we're in September, and I dare say we're just a few days away from the astronomical start of fall actually is on the 22nd. So we're getting closer to that time frame, which is remarkable, right? It's one of those situations where some of you are like, hey, I can deal with that. Kim was on here. She just wanted to say hello. I'll fly in here and just say hi. She says, I'm really loving the temps. I am too. Maybe not this October feel because you go outside with the winds. It was gloomy today. I mean, it's still kind of gloomy. It was gloomy this afternoon, and it felt more like, I don't know, Oktoberfest, cloudy. I was ready for some apple cider, maybe a pumpkin patch. Maybe some of you are already in that mindset. You're big on Halloween. If that's a big holiday, a Halloween or holiday for you, then this might be your season when it looks this gloomy outside. Now, we talk about coastal flooding. This tidal flooding obviously runs in a cycle. This is what it could look like, or it could look a lot worse. We talked about this during the approach of Hurricane Erin. By the way, there are right now, no concerns in the Atlantic for tropical activity, which is unusual since we're a day away from the peak, but more on that in a moment. Here's what the radar looks like. A lot of the clouds is stretched all the way up to Richmond, but if you were to go, I don't know, as far west as Roanoke, it was a mostly sunny day. A mostly sunny day in Roanoke, but along the coast, it looked like Gloomyville. And certainly we've got some showers that have moved into places like Exmoor over the last 3 hours, last 2 hours. There were a couple of showers maybe around Onancock, had a couple of rain showers around Corolla and Duck during our 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock newscast. It was raining around Duck and Knott's Island and maybe even toward Elizabeth City, but a lot of that's faded away for the time being. But it'll spin in here. It's not hard to figure out because this low has nowhere to go except up. And when I say up, I mean like it's going to follow this railroad track. If you make it a little bigger, there it is. Okay, so it's going to follow along this track. It's likely to throw back some clouds. It's going to throw back some showers, and we'll illustrate what that means. Now I'm more leaning toward, now that this has gotten some motion, and the high to the north is beginning to slide away. So as this moves away, it kind of makes this a little more, makes the avenue a little easier for this low to make its northern track. So we've got some opportunities for some rain. How much rain did you get today? Well, apparently, Virginia Beach got 0.03 of an inch, and Manio's had 0.02 of an inch, while Elizabeth City 0.05. Looks like the big winner thus far was Currituck. Currituck has actually had 0.11. I got a note from Martha. I think she's a new person for me. Now, Martha might be watching all the time. Hello, Martha. Great to see you. She's on here. She's saying hello. It's great to have you. If you have a weather question, Martha, I would love to be able to acknowledge you, put you front and center, be able to acknowledge you or have a conversation. You might have a follow-up question for me. But if so, I'm here. Just let me know and I'll do my best. But in the meantime, let me keep going. We're also got that 50% off pizza from Marco's. Glad to have a sponsor. Very thankful to have them as a sponsor. Now, as far as rainfall, Chesapeake's had 1/100th of an inch today. It was unusually cool. I mean, this is like a playbook out of, I don't know, October. 74 degrees, the high temperature today. That's pretty unusual. You can't dispute that how unusual that is, but it is. In fact, I'm going to do a quick check here because I want to find out how long does it take usually, as I look at the local data records. Norfolk typically sees high temperatures about 83 this time of year, and you can see that as I illustrated here. It was 83. Record high 96 set back during the Ronald Reagan administration in 1985. But when you go back to the normals, normal high of 74 is October 10th. You're like, hey, didn't you just say Oktoberfest? I did. So looking at the records, I'm on my other side computer here. October 10th. Typical, 74 in Norfolk. That's where we were today. That's where Virginia Beach was. We were 9 degrees below the normal today. Some people say, no problem, I can deal with it. Some people are not a big fan of the coolness this fast. Is it time for pumpkin spice? That's up to you, my friend. But I can tell you that we're now, what about Monday? We're less than 2 weeks. We're at 13 days away from the astronomical start. The astronomical start that we call the autumnal equinox. That'll be at 2:19. How about that for precision? 2:19 on Monday afternoon is when fall technically begins astronomically. And some of you will be like, by that point, I'll be ready for pumpkin spice. Maybe you're trying to time out fall color, usually in the Outer Banks. Usually you got to wait till November over here. But if you're in, say, the western part of Virginia, if you're in maybe the Shenandoah Mountains, maybe you're going to be mid-October. That's usually what we usually see here. And of course, the yellow areas are late October. So we're still a ways to go. We've seen some color change this week from what would be described as leaf stress. I mean, let's face it. Let's call a spade a spade. We went from 95 on Saturday to 75 on Sunday. We dropped 20 degrees. That's stressful for us. Imagine how stressful it is for the trees in your yard. Maybe they're starting to turn a little too prematurely. That's also a possibility. We'll keep moving. Weather conditions, I could just look at this all day. This looks like a page out of Sleepy Hollow, but it's the ocean front, man. I know. Tidal flooding, still a problem. Coastal flood advisory until 2 o'clock at least tomorrow. Let's expect it to go a little bit longer into Thursday. It'll be breezy tomorrow, 10 to 20. I think it could easily gust 25 at least. And below normal temperatures stay highs in the 70s for the rest of the week. By the way, there is some benefit to having this kind of cloud cover. It drops the pollen count a little bit. So if you're suffering from ragweed, it pulls back a little bit. Today, tomorrow, and then on Thursday, maybe more medium, but it might actually help you in the long run just to get through the day without worrying about wheezing and sneezing. By the way, temperature right now is 68 in Norfolk. We have 66 in Chesapeake. It is 70 in Portsmouth. Hampton, you are looking really comfortable at 70, although it's probably a little gloomy. So Pecoson's at 69, Hereford's at 68, and 69 in Moyock. Where are you watching from? if you're watching from one of these communities, give me a shout out. I'll put you on the screen. It's not hard. It's not intimidating. It really is fun. If you want to interact, you've got a location you're interested in, let's talk about it. I've already said hi to Martha and Kim Thompson-Jones. Kim mentioned hello, everybody. I don't know if I had that comment on the screen, but it's great to have Kim on here as well. Now, temperatures kind of lead into the current conditions. It's raining apparently in Elizabeth City, and we got raindrops in Edenton at 8 o'clock. These are the 8 o'clock METARs, or observations from airports. So we got Chesapeake with 2 drops. We got raindrops at Wallops and Virginia Beach and Edenton and Chesapeake, if I've named everybody. The beach forecast, 3 to 6 feet for heights tomorrow. So it's going to be a little choppy, and the rip current risk is going to be high. I don't know who would want to be in the water when it's this gloomy, but we've got 73 on the board for tomorrow, and the winds are pretty busy. Look at the UV index, pretty low. So maybe you save money on sunscreen. There's a positive spin. And here's another positive: no tropical activity expected during the next 7 days. Now, is that me talking? Actually, that's the National Hurricane Center talking. So there, I should put some quotation marks on it, because they don't have any, at this point, any area of interest that is expected to become a tropical storm. The next one would be Gabrielle, but it's interesting because this is one day before the peak. The peak, I've said time and time again, usually is centered around the time of September 10th. You look at the Atlantic, there's not a lot here. If I take this full screen, I mean, there are some thunderstorms showing up in red off of Africa in the middle of the Atlantic, but nothing truly organized, nothing that would set off bells and whistles from the Hurricane Center. So let's take a win. At least this week, for the next 6-7 days, let's celebrate. There's nothing really to track at this point. That's not to say it couldn't change in the 3rd or 4th week of September. It could, it might, it probably will. But Gabrielle, Umberto, Imelda, and Jerry are the next 4 names on the list. By the way, it is now 7:56. I've talked about today, talked about September 10th. It's tomorrow. I guess we could ring a bell. Ding, 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 ding. Hey, it's September 10th. Where's all this activity you talk about? Well, historically, not every year is the same, but this was kind of a weird year already. We had a surplus of rain in the driest month of the year, February. That's when we had that big snow, February 19th. Remember the 10, 11, 12 inches of snow on the 19th of February. We're going to get to the rainfall amounts here in a moment. But we had a very weird August. It got really cool in August, the coolest in 29 years since 1996. According to the National Weather Service in Wakefield. So you look at the July temperatures, it was crazy. We had 12 days in the 90s, and we had 10 above normal days, hot and humid. This doesn't even begin to tell you how humid it was. It was off the chart. We had feels like temperatures about 110, 105. It just wouldn't let up. But it did let up on August 1st. We had a string of 79s. 79, we had 1 to 80. I mean, that's how we started the month. Coolest since 1996. And remarkably, had only 2 days at 90 when we typically get 9 in the month of August. So far today, now that we've added this up, we've now had 3, count them, 3 above normals, and we've had 6 below normals. We had 74 today, 78 yesterday. Really nothing terribly hot other than the fact that we had Friday, Saturday now in the rearview mirror. I don't see it turning that hot again for the rest of the calendar year. We hit 74 today, record high 96. I mentioned this already. This was actually from 1985, so we were a far cry from any record highs today. Looking at the rainfall, though, we went 17 days without a drop of measurable rain. You go back to the 20th of August. That's when we had 0.01. Then we had some traces. That doesn't count. A trace you can't measure. But then once you go into September, we had nothing. And then we had all of a sudden 0.01 at Norfolk International on Sunday and a trace yesterday. So far, nothing. Maybe some mist. Maybe we could add another T here. But so far, nothing really to report. So when you factor all this in, it does tend to lead itself to a very dry outlook. We're now approaching 7 inches below normal for the year. I mentioned February was a surplus, big surplus. We've had 28.5 inches of rain and melted snow so far this year. Last year we had almost 42. So we actually had 13 1/3 inches more rain and melted snow at this time in 2024 versus 2025. That's remarkable. And what really played a big role in that was the dry August, when we typically see close to almost 6 inches of rain. That was not the case. We're closing in on 2 inches in the hole in September, and we're certainly not done with it. It's only 9 days in. The drought monitor, which I think is going to load or buffer, it'll catch up. I think it will. This is all yellow. I mean, it's pretty remarkable. You look at this. Let me go back, guys. I kind of skipped. There it is. So here's the big picture. The drought monitor has virtually everybody in Hampton Roads, the 7 cities, Northeast North Carolina, under an abnormally dry outlook. This is the level 1 of the drought. Not everybody is included there. We can include Ocean Lakes, we can include Hickory, we can include Suffolk, Norfolk. There are some exceptions. I'm looking at Exmoor, I'm looking at Onancock. Well, for whatever reason, I remember maybe a couple of weeks ago, you got crazy rain around Exmoor. I mean, it was crazy, like, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10 inches of rain or more. Some of those areas have been excluded from the abnormally dry conditions because you got so much rain maybe this summer. But even still, they got Cape Charles shaded in yellow. They've got Hatteras under the yellow awning here. This all covers up level 1 of a drought. This comes from our friends at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. We've got very dry conditions in Fort Lauderdale. They're red. Some areas in Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont under a level 3, which is severe, and areas even in East Tennessee. I'm looking at Blount County. I'm looking at western Knox County. Abnormally dry, if not a moderate drought in parts of Blount County. You expand other parts of the state and pull back into Texas. They could really use some rain in the red areas. They're extremely dry and continue to be. They didn't get there overnight. They're not going to get out of this situation overnight. They're going to need a prolonged period of rain. I'm just checking in with your notes as we're going to look at the maps here. I want to say hello to Martha, Kim, and also anyone who might be on the fence about leaving a comment. Would love to say hi to you. Just leave me a note and I'll do my best to put you on the screen. We got some severe weather breaking out this evening. Looks like on the Front Range, I'd say well east of Denver, now moving into Kansas. I got a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings here. It looks like Wallace County till 6:15 Central Time. They've got hail size about 1.5 inches. And another severe thunderstorm warning around Kit Carson and Yuma counties. This looks like that would be Colorado as it's trying to move into Kansas at this time. There's also some severe weather breaking out near Amarillo. If you have family in Texas, they've got some flash flooding going on. And that runs until about 8 o'clock or 9:30 for the flash floods. But severe thunderstorm warnings run until about 8 o'clock this evening. That's what's going on around the country. Virginia Beach ocean temperatures typically cool into the 60s in October, into the 50s by November. Right now it's about 74. It is still very, very warm. Low temperatures this morning, are you ready for this? Fell to 67. That occurred at 7:32 this morning. And we hit 74 at 1:38 p.m. Now, not everybody fell to 67. I'm looking at Franklin. You were a lot cooler at 55. It was 53 in Wakefield, 52 in Emporia. So there was some variability. I mean, 69 Manio, that's a big difference between 52 and 69, but that's kind of the range where we were, at least early this morning. Dew point temperatures will come up a little bit tomorrow. Dew point temperatures, again, really the gold standard to discuss how sticky it is. But right now our dew point is holding around 65. So it's humid, but my expectation is it's going to go a little higher tomorrow at about 68 and then ease back down to near 60 by Saturday. So it might be classified as humid when you're at 68 tomorrow, and it's going to be pretty close to the cusp here between pleasant and humid on Wednesday. But this actually, my mistake, this actually should be Wednesday. My map is off here, so I'll just go ahead and change this. This is W, this is Wednesday, this is Thursday. That's on me. That's on my hurriedness to get this graphic out so we can say this is Saturday and this is Sunday. So I'll just go ahead and cross that off. How's that for on the fly? Tomorrow, dew points are in the upper 60s, unfortunately. Maybe that's another aspect to consider. Right now, our dew points are in the mid-60s. We got 67 in Currituck, 67 in Elizabeth City, and we're running about 10 or 12. Look at that. 12 degrees more humid right now in Virginia Beach than it was this time last night. Kitty Hawk matches the same. Gloucester, Melfa plus 10, and Wallops Island plus 13. So very, very sticky relative to speaking, we talk about the fog, the poor visibility. That's one aspect as well. The cool air, when you see dew points in the 40s, I could carve out some really cool air here in brown. That would really be the Ohio Valley, West Virginia, and into western Pennsylvania. That's where the coolness and the dry air prevails. That's kind of where things are at the moment. I'm going to keep going as we're going to keep moving along. I'm looking at the telestrator. I'm going to go ahead and clear that off. But if you're looking at current temperatures, they're in the upper 60s. Virginia Beach at 68, 72 in Knoxville. That's where I was for 15 years. Been here a little more than 6 months. DC's at 71 and Columbus is at 71, but they feel more comfortable with dew points there in Columbus, Ohio in the mid-40s. Temperatures are all over the map around the country. Hot spots, if you could move any place, if you could teleport, where would you be? I see 104 in Phoenix. I see 68 in Detroit. And Bangor, Maine is at 59. There's some cool air in blue well up in toward parts of Canada, maybe north of Quebec. In those areas, they have very cool air is presiding at this time. And if you're looking down the road, look no further than Hampton Roads because it'll be pretty close to near normal. What you're seeing is probably a hot spell right across Memphis and Little Rock, and we could probably include central Illinois and Indianapolis in the hot spell above normal in the period. But by the time we hit the 22nd, that's through the 23rd, the 22nd is when we actually say hello to autumn officially. Here's what's very interesting. How does the cold air prevail down the road? This is just a 10-day snapshot. You can see some of the cooler air in green and yellow dropping down from Vancouver, trying to work its way to the Great Lakes. It stays relatively mild. In fact, it may actually begin to warm up back into the 80s by the time we get into the 19th of September, suggesting here there's still quite a bit of redness in the Ohio Valley and Pennsylvania. I want to get you ready for tomorrow because tomorrow is going to include not only some clouds, we'll say a lot of clouds, 69, 71, 73, mostly cloudy tomorrow. If you liked it today, you're going to love it tomorrow. If you thought yesterday was gloomy and windy, it's going to be mainly gloomy and windy tomorrow with a 40% chance of scattered showers on your Wednesday. So we've got higher dew points, we've got better chance of maybe some patches of fog and showers lingering into your Wednesday evening plans. High temperatures normally around 83 this time of year, 78 would be the warm spot on Friday, 76 on Saturday, 77 on Sunday. Got a big weekend ahead for the Kite Festival. There's a big Kite Festival at Nags Head. I believe it's this weekend. There's also the 28th fall and the 28th annual fall festival for wine, a wine festival in Virginia Beach. If that is your thing, you might be that might be calling your name, or maybe the Taste of Suffolk. Suffolk has a street festival for all kinds of food. You can actually participate from 11 to 5, and there's an after party from 5 to 8. So there's a lot going on this weekend. The chance of rain will be diminishing. So go back to that map. Will be diminishing certainly on Friday, and not bad as we head into Saturday. Most of what we get Sunday should be along the coast in the Outer Banks. The surface map shows again the rain still lingering on Thursday, but depending on the movement of this low, it's going to be predicated on how much rain some of our communities get to see. Eastern Shore forecast 71 in Onancock, 70 in Saxa, 71 in Cape Charles. Looking for a high temperature around 74 for Duck. 40% chance of rain there, 75 for Manio tomorrow, and Nags Head about 75 degrees. Notice a very low UV index of 4, which would suggest more clouds in the picture. We got Ocracoke at 77, Rodanthe at 76 degrees. It is now 8:07, just kind of wrapping things up, but the Storm Prediction Center highlighting some colors here. It's the yellow areas that would be the scattered severe storms. We saw them leaving Colorado, moving into Kansas, and lo and behold, that's where the yellow area is for now, right through tomorrow morning. We could also include areas around Dodge City and maybe Amarillo. They're also under the isolated severe storm threat from the Storm Prediction Center for the rest of the night and into tomorrow morning. If we slide back toward Hampton Roads, you can see it's colorless and nothing to see here on Wednesday. So no severe storms expected in the lower 48 during the course of tomorrow. So it's a good situation, not bad for traveling. Let's say no severe weather to worry about there. There could be and might continue to be another area in the Dakotas on Thursday where there could be some isolated severe storms popping up between Bismarck and Rapid City, South Dakota. Outside of that, the rest of the eastern seaboard looks pretty quiet. So let me get you through tonight. This is one of those situations where what we're seeing now is going to continue to maybe evolve where we throw back some showers. We've got a very stiff wind, but you can see some of this rain here. A couple of showers on the eastern shore, some raindrops holding tough around Virginia Beach because it looks kind of gloomy, and then we move it into Norfolk as well. This is 11 o'clock tonight. Watch what happens as we head into 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. I want to take this full because many of you are out the door at 5, 6, 7, or 8 a.m., heading off to work, heading off to school. And where do we see the rain? It seems like it's focused across the peninsulas from Norfolk to the north, eastern shore. That's not to say you couldn't get something in the Outer Banks at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, but the winds are going to be pretty much tying everything together, and then by midday, some of that will work its way further south down toward Elizabeth City. So around maybe Pasquotank, maybe into Currituck County, we see some showers. Back toward Duck, into Dare County as well, down toward maybe even Roanoke Island, but it seems like it's expanding westward by the time we hit 5 o'clock tomorrow. So we're talking Franklin. We can include a Hosky. If we move this one step further, I think it moves into Hosky. Yep, there it is. So Hosky starts to participate in it by 10 o'clock tomorrow night, and this continues on like so. So we're going to continue on this drippy outlook, it looks like tomorrow, but the second half of Thursday has a little more promise, has a little more hope in it because the clouds break certainly by midday in most locations, and I think the winds are going to begin to subside quite a bit. More 5 to 15 on Thursday, and then really a bright sunshine coming in on Friday. So tomorrow morning, you would be remiss if you leave your umbrella at home. Please don't do that. Temperatures in the mid-60s for the peninsulas, North Carolina, south side about 67, as it's now 8:10. Low temperatures about 64 for Ahoskie and Franklin and Gloucester, 66 for Cape Charles, Duck 70, about 67 for Edenton. As we look at lows tonight, about 67 for Moyock, Corolla at 70, and Nags Head at 70. Tomorrow afternoon, one can hope that we're still mostly cloudy with maybe a little bit of breaks in the overcast, but highs should generally be in the lower 70s, if not mid 70s, about 77 for North Carolina. Again, not a bad idea to keep the umbrella nearby. Meanwhile, we've got some green shaded areas here. This would be upper 60s from the Isle of Wight all the way to the north, although Hampton might squeeze out a 72, 74 for a high in Elizabeth City, and for a high in Cortland, Smithfield, Murfreesboro, right around 70 degrees for an afternoon high. Here's your first warning, WTKR News 3 7-day forecast. We got 78 on Friday, spotty rain on Saturday, and right now, while I can maintain this 30% chance of rain Sunday, it looks like it's a southern system that could bring some rain, particularly for the southern sections of the Outer Banks. I'm looking at Ocracoke and Hatteras and maybe as far north as Rodanthe. We'll see how this plays out, but right now, this does not look like a rain on Sunday for Gloucester. Does not look like a rain for Matthews or Williamsburg. It looks like it's concentrated mainly in North Carolina, which is why yours truly labeled it mainly in North Carolina. Now, by the time we hit Monday, Tuesday, the whole influence of this system should be pulling away, so it should be actually a very pleasant Monday, mostly sunny, and Tuesday, mostly sunny at 78 degrees. Got some great pictures to share with you. One from Mike Earp. He's the sunrise picture he took here of First Landing State Park. Isn't that beautiful? Not taken that long ago, but a beautiful sunrise indeed. Bradley Fullwood captured this beauty in Newport News. The Huntington Park Beach picture with the sun in the distance. I love it. Bradley, thank you for sharing that. These pictures come by way of our Facebook group, WTKR Photographers. Love it that they are not only sharing these great pictures with us, but we get to share them with you. Hopefully, we'll lift the mood of anything that might be gloomy tonight. James River sunset from Katrina Gay, showing the glow in the sky as it was going down the other night. So Katrina, thank you for sharing that with us, and just wanted to check in with you as we look at that first warning 7-day forecast once again. Want to say good evening to all of you. Glad to have Martha here, Kim here, as well as Kim Thompson-Jones. I know there's been some comments coming in. I want to see if I have one other location. Let me see if I can check one other post here. The comments that were coming in from a moment ago might also be different than the ones that are here. So if there's something you would like to share with me, let me know. I'll do my best to magnify your voice and put you on the screen anytime I can, any day of the week. Now, again, we are going to be giving away free pizza. If I haven't mentioned this already, the participating contest locations are on your screen. Very easy to participate. Go to WTKR.com/Marcos. 3 Virginia Beach locations, 1 in Chesapeake, soon to be 2 in Chesapeake, and 1 in Norfolk. One of the beautiful things about this week is they've got this awesome deal of the week. It's their 50% off all online and app orders. So anything that you find at marcos.com is 50% off. I mean, think about that. Whatever the pizza price is, you can take half off. That's pretty sweet. And you can share this promo code. There's no harm, no foul. If you share this promo code with someone you know or love, go ahead and do that. It's WTKR50. So anything that you're interested in buying, whether it be a 2-liter soft drink, maybe a gluten-free, cauliflower-friendly crust pizza from Marco's. Maybe it's a pizza bowl. Maybe it's something like the works. Maybe it's a big cheese, or maybe a chicken fresco. That's another winner. There's a lot of different pizzas that they have that maybe you haven't tried, and you could try it very easily. They've got the barbecue chicken, which is bacon, onions, tangy barbecue sauce, and grilled chicken. But they've got pizza bowls, they've got subs, they've got wings, they've got salads and desserts. Check them out. Their promo code again is WTKR50. They'd love to see you. And we're going to give away a pizza, not tomorrow, but we're going to be giving away a pizza for a year certificate on Thursday. We do it every Thursday. One of the things I look forward to each and every week, as we'll be doing that very, very soon. So very thankful for all of you. Just a reminder, again, if you have been out in this element and you're feeling like this is not the season you signed up for, fear not, it will get brighter with less wind as we get toward Friday. I think we'll get less wind even on Thursday. But that's just one day at a time. We still got to get through tomorrow. And don't forget, if you're in a tidal flooding area, if you experience coastal flooding, just remember this is on top of mind for us as we go into the next 24, possibly 36 hours or more. We'll have to wait and see. Just remember, it doesn't matter if the weather is sunny or if it's serious. It doesn't matter if it's hurricanes off the coast or there's no hurricane off the coast. Just remember, every day is a gift. Every day is a gift, so make the most of it in your life and in your neighborhood. We'll see you here tomorrow. Take care.